I hope all of you are doing really well. Today we are going to learn about squares and square roots. Okay, so let's get started. And concepts to be unfolded in this chapter: perfect squares, properties of perfect squares, to check whether a number is perfect square or not, square roots, methods to find the square root of a number by prime factorization method and division method, and word problems on square root. So let's unfold perfect squares. Okay. Till class 7, you have learned about the addition, subtraction, multiplication and division of numbers. In the present chapter, we will focus upon the multiplication of a number by itself and the special name given to such product. So let us start with the following table. Okay, see, these are the natural numbers 1 to 10 and we will multiply the number by itself. Means 1 into 1, 2 into 2, 3 into 3. So 1 into 1 is 1 square, 2 into 2 is 2 square, and 2 square is 4. And 3 into 3, that is 3 square, is 9. Okay. So children, do memorize the squares of these numbers. Okay. Now it is clear from the above table that a square of a number is obtained on multiplying the number by itself. Okay. इस टेबल से आप अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं, ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हैं कि सेम नंबर को सेम नंबर से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तो उसका स्क्वायर निकलेगा, उस नंबर का स्क्वायर. ओके, ऑल्सो द प्रोडक्ट्स ऑब्टेन्ड आर कॉल्ड अ perfect squares. Okay, these are the perfect squares, right? So perfect squares are also known as square numbers. Okay, this 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 89, 100 are perfect squares. From 1 to 100, there are only 10 numbers which are perfect square. Okay, see, these are the 10 numbers which are perfect square. Okay, and these numbers, we find these numbers from 1 to 100. Okay, so example 1, how many perfect squares are there between 30 and 50? So 30 और 50 के बीच में जितने भी perfect squares हैं हमें find out करने. So we have 5 into 5, 25, 6 into 6, 36, 7 into 7, 49, in 8 into 8, 64. Okay, but हमें किसके बीच में पता करने हैं? 30 and 50 के बीच में. So as you can see, there are only two perfect squares between 30 and 50. और वो कौन से आपके? 36 and 49. Okay. And example 2, you have to write the squares of the following numbers like 12, 15, 22. तो आप 12 को 12 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, इसका स्क्वायर आ जाएगा. 15 को 15 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, इसका स्क्वायर आ जाएगा. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, एंड डू मेमोराइज स्क्वायर अप टू 20. ओके, आपको सबके स्क्वायर्स पता होने चाहिए फ्रॉम 1 to 20, राइट? ओके, नेक्स्ट, प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ परफेक्ट स्क्वायर. प्रॉपर्टी नंबर 1. प्रॉपर्टी नंबर 1 क्या कहती है? सी, अ नंबर एंडिंग विद 2, 3, 7 or 8 is never a perfect square. Okay, किसी भी नंबर के एंड में अगर ये नंबर आते हैं, that means that number is not a perfect square. For examples, the numbers like these, all these numbers are not perfect squares. Okay, watch out. A number ending with 0, 1, 4, 5, 6, 9 may or may not be a perfect square. Okay, so जिन नंबर्स के एंडिंग में नंबर्स आते हैं वो परफेक्ट स्क्वायर हो भी सकते हैं और नहीं भी हो सकते. ओके, एग्जाम्पल 3 देखते हैं. राइट 4 नंबर्स which you can decide by looking at the units digit that they are not perfect squares. Okay, अब आपको स्क्वायर्स पता नहीं करना है, आपको सिर्फ उसकी यूनिट डिजिट देख के बताना. ओके, सो फर्स्ट नंबर इज 358. ओके, सो 8 इज एट यूनिट प्लेस एंड हमने यहाँ पे देखिए क्या पढ़ा था अभी. सी, 2, 3, 7, 8 अगर होंगे यूनिट प्लेस पे तो वो परफेक्ट स्क्वायर नहीं होगा. इज दैट क्लियर? नेक्स्ट इज 1073 यूनिट प्लेस पे 3 है, दिस इज ऑल्सो नॉट अ परफेक्ट स्क्वायर. एंड 232, 2 इज एट यूनिट प्लेस, दिस इज ऑल्सो नॉट अ perfect square. And 2937, 7 as unit place, so this number is also not a perfect square. Okay, is that clear? So please keep this in your mind that if a digit ends with 2, 3, 7 or 8, it will never be a perfect square. Okay, so इसी तरह से अपने बाकी एग्जाम्पल्स की प्रैक्टिस करनी है, राइट? प्रॉपर्टी नंबर 2. The square of an even number is always an even number. Okay, for example, even number square is also even number. This is even number, square is also even number. Property number 2, 3, the square of an odd number is always an odd number. Okay, For example, all these are the odd numbers and their square is also an odd number. Okay, example 5, the square of which of the following numbers would be an odd numbers? So this is very easy. 231, this is an odd number, so its square will be odd number. Okay, and 734, this is an even number, so its square will be an even number, not an odd number. Is that clear? So keep this mind, these two properties. Now move on to next property, property 4. A number ending with an odd number of zeros is never a perfect square. Okay, for example, 20, there is 1 0, 5000, there are 3 zeros, and then here you can see there are 5 zeros. Okay, so all these numbers end in 1, 3 and 5 zeros respectively. So none of them is a perfect square. Okay, अगर किसी भी नंबर के एंड में 0 आते हैं बट वो आपके आते हैं ऑड नंबर्स में, तो वो परफेक्ट स्क्वायर नहीं होंगे. Okay, watch out, a number ending with an even number of zeros may or may not be a perfect square. Okay, now property number 5, the square of a number ending with n zeros has 2 n zeros at the end. How? Let's check out with the help of an example. For example, 20. Okay, so 20 square. See, there is 1 0 at the end. Okay, and after finding out the square of 20, which is 400, there are 2 zeros at the end. Okay, next example is 300. There are 2 zeros at the end, and after finding out the square, we have 4 zeros at the end. Okay, so इसी तरह से अपने example 6 भी करना है, right? You have to write 3 numbers ending with zeros, which you can decide by looking at that number of zeros. They are not perfect squares. Okay, आपको देख के पता चल जाएगा, zero देख के कि that ये perfect square है या नहीं है. For example, ends with 1 0. 1 0, this is not a perfect square. Okay, there are 3 zeros. Of course, this is also not a perfect square, and there are 5 zeros. Okay, so we will add only the zeros which are at the end. Okay, not in between the numbers. So there are 5 zeros, so this is also not a perfect square. Okay, students, so बाकी example की practice आप खुद से करेंगे, right? Move on to next property, which is property 6. Okay, very important. Number 1, if a number ends with 1 or 9, then its square ends with 1. Okay, for example, square of 11 is 121. Okay, unit place is 1 is at unit place, उसके square में भी आपका 1 आया है. इसी तरह से square of 21 is 441. Square of 9 is 361 and square of 29 is 841. Okay, so कभी भी कोई भी number जिसके end में आता है 1 और 9, उसका square हमेशा 1 पे end होगा. Keep this in your mind. Okay. 2, if a number ends with 4 or 6, its square ends with 6. और अगर आपके यूनिट प्लेस पे 4 या 6 होगा तो उसका स्क्वायर में 6 आएगा. ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल स्क्वायर ऑफ 14 इज 196. ओके, स्क्वायर ऑफ 16 इज 256. ओके. 3, if a number ends with 2 or 8, then its square ends with 4. ओके, इसी तरह से अगर 2 और 8 आता है तो उसका स्क्वायर एंड होगा 4 पे. फॉर एग्जांपल यू कैन चेक हियर. ओके, नंबर 4, if a number ends with 3 or 7, then square ends with 9. ओके, और अगर आपकी 3 है यूनिट्स प्लेस पे, यानी कि नंबर एंड हो रहा है 3 या 7 पे, तो फिर स्क्वायर में आएगा 9. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू कैन चेक हियर. ओके, एंड नंबर 5, इफ अ नंबर एंड्स विथ 5, देन स्क्वायर ऑल्सो एंड्स विथ 5. ओके, सो दिस इज वेरी सिंपल. अगर 5 है तो उसका स्क्वायर भी, जो स्क्वायर आप निकालेंगे स्क्वायर नंबर, तो उसका जो यूनिट प्लेस पे 5 ही रहने वाला है. ओके, एंड 6, इफ अ नंबर एंड्स विथ 0, देन इट्स स्क्वायर ऑल्सो एंड्स विथ 0. ओके, for example, square of 10 is 100, square of 20 is 400, etc. Okay, so keep this property in mind. Okay, so property 6 के आपके 4 parts हैं, तो आप इन्हें याद रखेंगे. Okay, memorize them. Okay, क्योंकि आपको आगे काम आने वाले हैं. Let's learn next property, property number 7. There are 2 n natural numbers between n square and n plus 1 square. Okay, watch out, the natural numbers between n square and n plus 1 squares are non-perfect square numbers. Okay, so एक example हम करते हैं. How many natural numbers lie between the following pairs of numbers? 4 square and 5 square. Okay, so between 4 square and 5 square, there are 2 into 4. Okay, so we have this formula. So there are 2 into 4, 8 numbers. Okay, 8 natural numbers. And between 21 and 22, there are, what will you do? 2 into 21, you will multiply 42 natural numbers. Okay, so similarly you will find out the natural numbers between 99 and 100 square and 200 square and 201 square. Okay. Exercise A. Give reason to justify that the numbers given below are not perfect squares. Okay, आपको reason बताना. See, this number ends with 2. Your 2 is at unit place, so this is not a perfect square. Okay. Similarly, you will give examples for other numbers also. Okay. Next, move on to next topic to check whether a number is a perfect square or not. You have learned to check a number that it is not a perfect square. How do we know whether a given number is a perfect square? A perfect square can always be expressed as a product of pair of equal prime factors. अभी तक हमने ये चेक किया कि कोई नंबर जो है पर्टिकुलर नंबर परफेक्ट स्क्वायर है या नहीं, बट हम कैसे जानेंगे कि ये जो नंबर है परफेक्ट स्क्वायर है या नहीं है? सो हम हमेशा इसकी प्राइम फैक्टर्स की इक्वल पेयर्स बनाएंगे. ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल, इज 729 अ परफेक्ट स्क्वायर? ओके, अब इसके परफेक्ट हमने प्राइम फैक्टर्स निकाले. सी, 1 pair, 2 pair and 3 pair. Okay, so 3 into 3 into 3 is 27. So 729 can be expressed as the product of pair of equal prime factors. So this is a perfect square. और अगर equal pairs नहीं बनेंगे, that means it is not a perfect square. Okay. Similarly, you will do example 12 also. You have to find whether this number is a perfect square or not. See, here you can see there are equal pairs, so this is a perfect square. Okay. Now move on to next topic, square root. Finding the square root is the inverse, that is opposite operation of squaring. Thus, if a square of A is B, then square root of B is A. Okay, अब हमें square root find करना है. Square root आपका squaring के opposite होता है. अगर A का square B है, that means square root B का होगा A. Or you can also say, if A square is equals to B, A square is equals to B, then B square root is A, where this symbol, this is the symbol of square root. Okay, so for example, 1 square is 1, square root 1 is 1. 2 square is 4, 2 का square 4 होता है, and 4 square root is 2. 3 का square 9, 9 square root 3, and 4 square 16, 16 square root 4. 5 का square 25, and 25 square root is 5. Okay. Similarly, all this formula applies here also. Okay. Now, methods to find the square root of a number. So there are lots of methods to find the square root of a number. So we'll talk about method number 1, which is prime factorization method. Number 1, express the given number as a product of prime factors. 2, make pairs of equal prime factors. 3, take one factor from each pair, multiply them, the product obtained is a required square root. Okay, so let's understand this with the help of an example. Find the square root of the following numbers using prime factorization method. Okay, 256. So first we will find the prime factors. Okay, all of you know that how to find the prime factors, right? In previous class mein bhi padha hua hai. Okay, 2 1s are 2, 2 2s are 4, and 2 8s are 16. Then 2 6s are 12, 2 4s are 8. Okay, 2 3s are 6, 2 2s are 4. Then 2 1s are 2, 2 6s are 12. 2 8s are 16, 2 4s are 8, 2 2s are 4, 2 1s are 2. Okay, now let's make the pair. Okay, 1 2 3 4. Okay, pairs आपके बन गए हैं. So आपसे क्या पूछा गया है? Square root of 256. So square root of 256 is what? Is 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8, 8 2s are 16. Okay, so 256 का square root है 16, यानी कि 16 का square होता है 256. Okay, student. So similarly, you will find out the square roots of these numbers also. Okay. Now move on to next method. Method number 2, that is division method. Finding a square root of large numbers using prime factorization method is a very long process and takes much time. Thus, to find the square roots of large numbers, we use division method. The division method is explained below with the help of a few examples. ओके, अब हमारे पास सपोज कोई बड़ा सा नंबर आ जाता है तो उसका स्क्वायर रूट निकालना थोड़ा सा लेंदी प्रोसेस हो जाता है, टाइम कंज्यूमिंग भी होता है, तो इसलिए हम डिवीजन मेथड का यूज करते हैं. ओके, तो चलिए देखते हैं कि डिवीजन मेथड का किस तरह से यूज करते हैं. वी हैव दैट एग्जांपल, फाइंड द स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ 529. Step 1. Place a bar over every pair of digits starting from the digit at units place. If the number of digits in it is odd, then the leftmost single digit 2 will have a bar. Thus we have, see, there are 2 bars. We'll start from the right. Pairs हम बनाते हैं. Okay, right से हम start करेंगे. अब यहाँ से देखिए 529 था आपके पास, हम राइट से स्टार्ट करेंगे, बार लगाए. अब ये सिंगल डिजिट बढ़ गया तो इसके ऊपर भी आपके बार लगेगा. ओके, स्टेप 2, फाइंड द लार्जेस्ट नंबर हुज स्क्वायर इज लेस देन और इक्वल टू नंबर अंडर द एक्सट्रीम लेफ्ट बार. Take this number as a divisor and the quotient with the number under the extreme left bar as a dividend. Here, as you can see, 5. Divide and get the remainder. Step 3, bring down the number under the next bar to the right of the remainder. Thus, the new dividend is 129. Double the quotient to get 4 and enter it with a blank on its right at the place of new divisor. Step 5, find the largest possible digit to fill in the blank, which will also become the new digit in the quotient, such that when the new divisor is multiplied by the new digit in the quotient, the product is less than or equal to the dividend. Here, 43 into 3 is equals to 129, so we choose the new digit as 3. Get the remainder. Step 6, since the remainder is 0 and no digits are left in the given number, therefore under root 529 is equals to 23. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so first 529 हमने लिखा. Okay, and अब हम इसकी pairing करेंगे. As I told you, right side से हम start करेंगे. Okay, so अब देखिए, क्योंकि हम squares लेते हैं, जो नंबर हम यहाँ पे लेंगे सेम नंबर हमें यहाँ पे लेना पड़ेगा. ओके, सो 5 किसी का स्क्वायर नहीं होता है, बट 5 से छोटा है 4 जो 2 का स्क्वायर होता है. 2 2s are 4. ओके, रिमाइंडर इज 1. नाउ वी विल ब्रिंग डाउन दीज 2 नंबर्स, क्योंकि बार वाला हमें पूरा लेना पड़ेगा. ओके, 129. नाउ वी विल एड दीज 2 नंबर्स. 2 plus 2 is 4. ओके, रिमेंबर स्टूडेंट्स, जो नंबर हम यहाँ पे लिखेंगे हमें यहाँ पे भी लिखना पड़ेगा. ओके, सो हियर यू कैन सी दैट दिस इज 9. सो 9 किस नंबर के स्क्वायर में आता है? या तो 3 होता है या फिर 7 होता है. ओके, अगर हम यहाँ पे 7 लेते हैं, सो 7 7s are 49, 7 4s are 28 plus 2, तो ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. दैट मीन्स यहाँ पे 7 नहीं होगा. ओके, 3 ले सकते हैं. लेट्स चेक दिस आउट. 3 3s are 9 and 3 4s are 12 and the remainder is 0. That means 529 का स्क्वायर रूट क्या है आपके पास? is 23. Okay, let's do one more example. We have to find the square root of 5476. इसके बाद आपको ये और अच्छे से आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा. Okay, so we have 5476. Okay, first we will place the bars. Okay, starting from the right side. Now we have 54. 54 किसका स्क्वायर होता है? 54 किसी का स्क्वायर नहीं होता. ओके, सी 7 का स्क्वायर होता है 49, 8 का स्क्वायर होता है 64. ओके, सो 64 हम ले नहीं सकते बिकॉज 64 is greater than 54. So we'll take 49. So 7 7s are 49. Okay, now subtract. 14 minus 9 is 5. And then bring down these 2 numbers जो बार में 576. Okay, now we will add these 2 numbers. 7 plus 7 14. Okay, see हमारे पास नंबर है 576. 6 is at units place. So कोई ऐसा नंबर हमें चाहिए जिसका स्क्वायर जो है वो 6 पे एंड हो. So we have 2 examples, like 4 का स्क्वायर होता है 16 and 6 का स्क्वायर होता है 36. दोनों का ही जो स्क्वायर है, स्क्वायर नंबर वो 6 पे एंड हो रहा है. So if we write 4 here, 4 4s are 16, 1 carry. 4 4s are 16 plus 1 17, 1 carry. 4 1s are 4 and 1 5. Okay, 576. Remainder is 0. So 74 is the square root of this number. Okay, and how you gonna write it? Okay, so under root 5476 is equals to 74. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, सो इसी तरह से आपने बाकी के एग्जाम्पल्स की प्रैक्टिस करनी है. ओके, एंड आई एम श्योर आपको समझ आ गया होगा किस तरह से डिविजन मेथड से हम स्क्वायर रूट निकालते हैं. ओके, स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ डेसिमल नंबर्स यूजिंग डिविजन मेथड. ओके, अब डेसिमल नंबर्स का कैसे हम स्क्वायर रूट निकालते हैं? सी, मेथड इज सेम. ओके, सो example is find the square root of the following decimal numbers. We have 31.36. So in decimal numbers, starting from the decimal point, pair the digits in the integral part from right to left, and then thereof decimal part from left to right. Okay, so same procedure is there. So difference is there कि एक decimal आपका आ जाता है. Okay, now proceed exactly the same way as did for natural numbers. Just remember to put the decimal in the quotient as the decimal point and the dividend is crossed. Okay, have a look. 31.36. First we'll start doing pairing. Okay, so first we have 31. So 31 किसी का स्क्वायर नहीं होता और 31 के आसपास आता है आपका 5 का स्क्वायर. Okay, so 5 into 5 is 25. Okay, and now 11 minus 5 is 6. Okay, and then there is a decimal. Put a decimal here and then 36 हम नीचे लेकर आएंगे. Okay, now 5 plus 5 10. Okay, again आपकी यूनिट प्लेस पे है 6. So 6 किसके स्क्वायर में आता है? या तो 4 के या तो 6 के. Okay, if we take 4 here, for example, if we take 4 here, 4 4s are 16, 1 carry and 4 1s are 4. But ये तो इसके आसपास नहीं है, right? So that means ये 4 नहीं है. हम कितना यहाँ पे लेंगे अब? हमारे पास सेकेंड ऑप्शन इज 6. Okay, 6 6s are 36, 3 carry and 6 1s are 6. Okay, remainder is 0. Okay, so 31.36 का जो स्क्वायर रूट है that is 5.6. Okay, okay student, procedure is same, just एक decimal point हमें add on करना है, right? So इसी तरह से आपने बाकी examples की भी practice करनी है. Okay, now word problems on square root. Example number 80. If the area of a plot is 3136 meters square. Okay, so this is the area of a square plot. Find the length of the side of plot. We know that area of a square plot or area of a square is side into side, but here area is given. Okay, so side area of a square is side into side, but area of a square is given over here, 3136 meters square. We have to find the side, that is the length of the side of the plot. So length आपका क्या होगा? देखिए 3136 मीटर का हम स्क्वायर रूट निकालेंगे. Why? You know, अपने previous classes में भी पढ़ा होगा, area of a square is side into side. So area is equals to side square, and if we have to find the side square, that is the length of the side. So what will you do? What we do? We find the square root of area. Okay, so that is why we are finding the square root of this area, right? Now let's find out the square root of 3136 meter. 3136. Okay, we'll make the pair. 5 5s are 25. 11 minus 5 is 6, and then 36. 5 plus 5 is 10, and we'll take here 6. 6 6 are 36, and 6 1s are 6. Okay, 56 meter is the answer. That means the side of the square plot is 56 meter. Okay students, so इसी तरह से आपने बाकी examples की practice करनी है, right? At a glance, square of a number is obtained on multiplying the number by itself, and the products obtained are called perfect squares or square numbers. Properties of perfect square. Remember students, these properties are very important. Okay, so go through these properties and try to memorize all these. Okay, a number ending with 2, 3, 7 or 8 is never a perfect square. The square of an even number is always an even number. The square of an odd number is always an odd number. A number ending with an odd number of zeros is never a perfect square. The square of a number ending with n zeros has 2n zeros at the end. If a number ends with 1 or 9, then its square ends with 1. If a number ends with 4 or 6, then its square ends with 6. If a number ends with 2 or 8, then its square ends with 4. If a number ends with 3 or 7, then its square ends with 9. If a number ends with 5, then its square also ends with 5. And if a number ends with 0, then its square also ends with 0. So remember all these things. There are two natural numbers between n square and n plus 1 square. A perfect square can always be expressed as a product of pair of equal prime numbers. If a square is equals to b, then under root b is equals to a, where this is the symbol of square root. You know that very well. And methods to find the square root of a perfect square number are method 1, prime factorization method, and method number 2, division method. The number of bars we place over the digits or digit in a perfect square number in long division method gives the number of digits in its square root. If the number of decimal places in a perfect square decimal numbers is m, then the number of decimal places in its square root is m by 2. So here comes the end of this chapter, students. I hope आपको ये chapter समझ आया होगा, and now you will do practice of this chapter.